This presentation is over the history of fractions by Grace Wolf. The background. So fractions were used after the early 15th century and originated from the Latin word fractio, meaning a breaking. There was first noted evidence of the use of fractions dating back to 2000 BC in Egypt. Fractions were used to calculate taxes as the land belonging to an individual was divided into sections that were taxed a certain amount. The same idea was adopted by the British in 1550 AD for profits of voyage that needed to be paid. As the concepts of fractions first originated from Egypt, its initial representatives were in the form of pictures called hieroglyphs. The Egyptians composed separate symbols for the base 10 idea. So the first chart shows the Egyptian numeral hieroglyphs, and the second chart shows the 2 symbols for 100, 7 symbols for 10, and 6 symbols for 1. So this would represent 276. Characteristics. A over B, where A is less than B, is a proper fraction, like 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 4. A over B, where A is greater than B, is an improper fraction, like 5 over 4. The fraction written with a whole number is called a mixed fraction. An improper fraction can be written as a mixed fraction and vice versa. Components. So fractions are important as they tell you what portion of a whole you have or need. They represent equal parts of a whole or collection. For example, if a whole is divided into 2 equal parts, then each part is 1 over 2, or 1/2. So I have this set here that can be used in the classroom. Wooden fruits. And they can actually be divided. So here's an example. If I were to take this pear, cut it in half, 1/2 the pear. And I could do the same thing for a kiwi. So I'm going to cut this in half. And they also have an orange, same thing. The students would be dividing. So if a whole is divided into 4 equal parts, then each part is 1/4. So if I were to take this cantaloupe, that would be 1/4. This would be 2/4, and then 3/4. If 3 parts are left out of 4 parts, then 3/4 of the whole is missing. So if I were to put these pieces back together and take away 3 parts, then 3/4 of the whole is missing. Real-life examples include pizza, cake, and fruit, like in the worksheet to the right. Components. A fraction has 2 parts, a numerator and a denominator. So if you were to look at 1 over 2, the numerator would be 1 as it is located above the line, and it tells how many equal parts of the whole or collection. The denominator would be 2 as it is located below the line, which tells the total number of equal parts in a whole or collection. It is important to note that when parts of a whole are unevenly divided, They do not form fractions, like in these pictures to the right. There are shifts in the progression of learning. So in grade 3, students develop a more formal concept of a fraction using the idea of partitioning a whole into equal parts. So again, this whole can be a shape like a square, a rectangle, a circle. So they're developing the understanding of fractions as numbers. Then advancing into grades 4 and 5, students are going to begin to extend the concept to include wholes that are a group of objects that lead to operations with fractions. So they're going to understand decimal notation for fractions and compare decimal fractions. They're going to use equivalent fractions as a strategy to add and subtract fractions. And they're going to apply and extend previous understandings of multiplication and division. So specific teaching strategies. So one strategy is a hands-on approach. The concept of a fraction is abstract and visualizing part versus whole is a developmental skill and is not comprehended by most students. Hands-on teaching methods can help students engage, participate, and collaborate in an activity. So on the left, we have a hopscotch the students could play, and then we also have a representation of fractions through Play-Doh. And then again, these fruit options, like this banana, could be used as a representation of a hands-on for younger students. Teachers could also use a projector to help students follow along in class when introducing new lessons. And technology can also offer interactive sites and games that can present fractions in a more flexible and fun manner. When introducing fractions, free exploration and manipulatives can help students become ready to learn. They can prepare to map out goals and objectives. Limited understanding and misconceptions and lack of practice can be avoided by implementing step-by-step strategic instruction. Another aspect to include throughout the classroom are anecdotal notes. So this is more for a teacher's reference. They can be used to record student participation or absent, struggling students, and then referred back to for the next week's objectives and instruction in any subject area. And these are my references. Thank you for watching.